Welcome to another edition of HorseCenter, everyone. I'm Brian Zipsy, and as always, I'm joined by my 122 buyer of a partner, Matt Schiffman. How are you today, Matt?
I'm great, Brian. And just for today, if it's okay, would you call me Chad Brown?
Chad Brown had a big weekend, Matt, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about. What a wonderful weekend of holiday racing we had, Matt, both on Saturday and Sunday. And let's start with the new superstar of racing, the three-year-old filly taking the world by storm. She's trained by Chad Brown. Who are we talking about, Matt?
Lady Eli. And I tell you, Brian, all the great stuff that's been happening this year with American Pharoah winning the Triple Crown, could be kind of hard to imagine that it could get better, but we got Lady Eli now, and she is absolutely amazing. And, for Chad Brown to describe her as maybe the best turf horse that he's ever been around, and that includes when he was an assistant for Bobby Frankel. What kind of statement is that, Brian?
Yeah, well, thinking about all the good ones he's had, I don't know if he's ever had one this good, Matt. Again, folks, she was just absolutely dominant in the $1 million Belmont Oaks. This was her first try going 10 furlongs. So it was something I wanted to see. It was a huge field, and she just toyed with them. She got the benefit of a fast pace, Matt, which helped, but I don't care if they were running a snail's pace early. She's just too good for these three-year-old fillies.
Oh, I tell you, if folks, when the stretch run is playing here, just, watch Irad Ortiz. She goes by the front wall of horses, and he's standing up on her. He's hardly even asked her to run, and she just blows right by them. And keep in mind, 159 and change for the race, just shy of 2 seconds, 2 full seconds faster than the boys ran.
And Force the Pass looked pretty good in winning the $1.25 million Belmont Derby. So yeah, how good is Lady Eli? I don't think anybody knows, Matt. She's 6 for 6. Frankly, she looks better with every start, and she is truly a turf superstar. I can't remember. I've been following horses for 40 years, literally, and I can't remember an American turf filly getting off to a better start to their career or showing more potential this early in their career than Lady Eli. I can't wait to see what she does next.
And I'm just last comment about it, Brian. I was at Monmouth Park for the UN, and I know we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. And she she's getting the recognition because I can't tell you how many people, when Chad Brown passed through the crowd and up through the tunnel, how many people went over to him to comment about Lady Eli and offer congratulations and say how amazing she is. She's got the fan following now too.
As it should be, Matt. The American Pharoah ignited the horse racing fan base and brought in new fans. And horses like Lady Eli are keeping us excited this summer. It's great. Big Saturday. That was the Stars and Stripes card, Saturday at Belmont Park. 6 graded stakes. Private Zone just continues to impress, Matt. I guess this could have come up stronger at the Belmont Sprint we're talking about. But what a horse. He's a 6-year-old gelding. And kind of like I said with Lady Eli, who's a 3-year-old filly, and you'd expect her to be getting better at this time. Private Zone has not lost a step. And if anything, he's better now than he was a year or two ago. Private Zone was just easy as could be in the Belmont Sprint. Then, of course, you had the Suburban. Tonalist was just a big favorite coming off the second in the Met Mile. He won the Belmont, the Jockey Club last year, Matt, as you know, given 6 pounds, but he didn't get to the wire first. It was a great stretch battle.
Yeah, it sure was, and FNX gutted it out. I'm just wondering a little bit about Tonalist. It seems like they don't quite have him figured out. It's blinkers on, and then it's blinkers off, and and sometimes he's got it all together, and he didn't seem to have all of his punch going down the stretch. So I'm a little curious about Tonalist.
Yeah, some people got on Johnny V for the ride. He was way back early, then he made a big move, and he seemed to flounder for a bit. He was coming on again. I thought he had FNX inside the 16th pole, and FNX outgamed him and frankly deserved the win. Coach Inge, we got to mention, who was third, really hung on very determinedly, very doggedly after super fast fractions. So that was a very good race. Force the Pass, we already mentioned. Nice winner of the Belmont Derby, keeps winning for Alan Goldberg. Irish Jasper, don't sleep on Irish Jasper. I think she benefits when there's a fast pace, and she won another one on the Victory Ride. Nice 3-year-old sprinting filly. And then, of course, one horse we need to talk about is Speightster now.
Yeah, we saw Speedster on Belmont weekend, and we were very impressed. And he came up big in the Dwyer. Very, very impressed with him. He's got a big future.
He's got a big future, and I think the horse that was a well-beaten second, he was 2.5 lengths back in the Dwyer, Texas Red. No shame in his return performance. That race probably set up a little bit better for Speedster, but Texas Red made a nice move on the outside. He wasn't going to beat Speedster even if they went another quarter mile, but Texas Red is a horse to look out for down the road as well.
Yeah, no question. Texas ran big, and Speedster was the winner.
Speidster ran bigger, 3 for 3, very impressive in all 3 races. So Speidster is a new star in the 3-year-old realm. I'm not sure if he's going to stretch out to 2 furlongs or if Belmont's going to keep him at 1 turn for now, but definitely a big talent. Out west, we had the Los Alamitos Derby, Matt, Kentuckian, who had looked so good at 1 turn. Went out to the lead, but he had no answers for the pair coming out of the Affirm Stakes, and that's Gimme the Loot from the Baffert Barn and Prospect Park, and they provided a nice stretch battle as well.
They sure did, and Prospect Park was coming strongly. It was to me, he was a little erratic in the stretch run, lugging it a little bit, which forced the jock to have to make an adjustment, and that was probably enough for him to lose the race because he got him straightened out and nearly got Gimme the Loot at the end, but I don't know. Everything seems to be going Baffert's way, but I was glad to see Prospect Park come back and show the talent that I know you, Brian, had been touting along the Derby Trail.
Yeah, he was one of the interesting horses I thought on the Derby Trail, Matt, and I'm still on him. Santa Anita Derby came out with a little issue. Gimme Duluth beat him twice in a row. Gimme Duluth, I think you kind of know what you get, a really solid, speedy type who's going to be tough in these shorter 2-turn races in California. But I think Prospect Park is still a horse to watch out for down the road. He's still, I think he hit the nail on the head, Matt, hasn't learned all of his lessons yet, and he might be a horse that we can watch in the handicap division in the years to come out in California. We need to mention what happened at Los Alamitos on Sunday, because the long anticipated second race for Super Majesty, a 3-year-old filly by Super Saver from the Jerry Hollendorfer barn. She had won her maiden in spectacular fashion back in May. She came back for her second race at Los Al, a 6-furlong allowance race against fillies, and she won by more than 15 lengths, Matt, in 1:08.1, which was just barely faster than her debut performance. So she's thrown down 2 1:08s already in her 2-race career.
Yeah, talking about loaded, Hollendorfer is probably close to as loaded as Baffert.
Yeah, Hollendorfer's on fire. Of course, Shared Belief is on the bench, but this one looks like she could be any kind, and she might be headed to Saratoga for the Grade 1 test next. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
That Sunday, you were at Monmouth.
Yeah, I was at Monmouth for the United Nations and the Salvatore Mile before that.
Yeah, the Braidster looked very good. An old friend of mine, 5-year-old, who's a hard knocker, ran a big race in the Salvatore Mile.
Yeah, sure did. Got out on the lead. Rider was able to get the horse to relax on the lead and ran a huge race. Came up a 109 Beyer figure, I think. And Red Vine, a horse that had gotten switched off the turf from the Clement barn and had turned into a very impressive horse on the dirt. You and I both liked him. Ran a big race, came on at the end, but was too tough on the Monmouth track to run down Braidster, who had everything his way on the front end.
Yeah, nice win for Braidster, who's a nice, hard-trying horse, but I think Red Vine of the two is the horse, just like we said in the Los Al Derby, that might have a little bit more potential. Red Vine, keep an eye on that one, folks. And then, of course, the headliner on Sunday at Monmouth Park was the United Nations, a race I used to love when it was down in Atlantic City. It's become a very important race at Monmouth Park. The last 2 winners were in their Big Blue Kitten, 2013. Of course, last year's champion. Two Eclipse Awards last year were collected by Main Sequence. He won the UN last year. Matt, what's wrong with Main Sequence? This was not his day.
No, it wasn't his day. Some people thought he looked a little fractious in the post parade. Not sure, but it's sure, he was sitting where he usually sits. And when they turned into the stretch, he just didn't have any move left at all. the race set up perfectly for any closers in there that were going to make their move on Shining Copper, who was put in there by the Ramseys to set up a good pace for the Chad Brown runners, and in particular for Big Blue Kitten. But Main Sequence didn't have it. No excuses offered by Graham Motion or by jockey Rajiv Mirage, but Big Blue Kitten, he sure had it. He's back again. I was a little off in 2014, had some nagging problems, Chad said after the race, but he's back and as good as he ever was, because he ran a super race, and Joe Bravo, once again, kind of what he likes to do on the turf, safe ground, relaxed them, swung wide, and big win for a really nice horse, Big Blue Kitten.
Powerful win. And 2014 wasn't bad. It just wasn't up to the Big Blue Kitten standards we had seen in 2013, where I thought he was close to being the best turf horse in America, at least going a distance. And yeah, he's as good as ever, Matt. This was big. His Fort Marcy was excellent this year. Manhattan was a little bit too late. He got second there, and now this big win in the UN. I have Big Blue Kitten as the best male turf horse in the country, because there is a certain 3-year-old filly that we've already talked about. So it's good to see Big Blue Kitten. Maybe we'll see Big Blue Kitten and California Chrome hit Chicago together for the Arlington Million. So that'll be interesting. And hopefully we'll get to see a little bit of the old Maiden Sequence before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I sure hope so. But if you look back, there aren't too many horses that put those back-to-back Eclipse Award type of performances together. So, but Brian, I love Main Sequence, and I was disappointed that I didn't get to see the horse that I'd seen last year.
Yeah, American Pharoah's doing it, Matt. He's a horse who's doing the back-to-back Eclipse Award seasons. But I digress. I guess we always throw in a little bit American Pharoah, and we're getting excited, folks, to see him in the Haskell. That's less than 4 weeks away now. So American Pharoah talk always permeates HorseCenter, and why not? Matt, also on Sunday we had the Summit of Speed. It's weird that it's not at Calder anymore. Calder, South Florida Racing, they've been fighting for my lifetime, and they'll probably keep fighting after I'm passed. But it's at Gulfstream Park now. Favorite Tail won nicely. Work all week, got his second since his return after an Eclipse Award season. The Illinois bred. Mary Meadow looked good. We saw a nice 2-year-old filly down there. Anything strike you from the Summit of Speed?
Yeah, no, it was just more what I had said before, that it's tough for those Eclipse Award winners to put together what we like to expect from them. It work all week, is kind of another example.
Yeah, two second place performances. He's not running bad, but he was winning them all last year. That looked like a track where you wanted to be on the lead and just kept on going. Sunday at Gulfstream Park. Also Sunday, we have to give a little love to our neighbors north of the border. It's been since 1860 that the first Queen's Plate was run, Matt. That's older than either one of us.
Well, yeah, just slightly older than me.
By just a little bit. And actually, it was a great finish. Lots of crazy early speed. It reminded me of a Kentucky Derby of years gone past, where they ran way too fast early. Academic, one of the favorites, the filly, was part of that speed duel, Matt. And it really set it up for the closers. My long shot, Billy Starr, made the first move, probably premature, got the lead. But in the end, it was the two favorites. Danish Dynaformer got the lead in mid-stretch, and then he was powered past late by Shaman Ghost, who's now won 4 in a row, Matt.
Wow. Impressive. That's a great series that they have up in Canada, and the fans love it.
Yeah, I need to get back to a Queen's Plate someday soon. Good news is Shaman Ghost, the winner of the Queen's Plate in 4 in a row, as I mentioned, is going to head to Fort Erie for dirt for the Prince of Wales next. Of course, their third leg in the Canadian Triple Crown is on turf, so it'll be interesting. Who knows? He's a hot horse. Maybe he can be another Triple Crown winner. Matt, is he a threat to American Pharoah down the road if he can win the Canadian Triple Crown, or the horse that we saw win the Queen's Plate? Is he in the same league as American Pharoah? No, I agree, Matt. On that note, folks, we're going to call it a day. What a weekend of racing. It's going to continue to be great racing all summer. We got Del Mar opening in less than 2 weeks, Saratoga in just about 3 weeks now. So Matt and I are excited. We'll see you next week on HorseCenter. As always, we're brought to you by Horse Racing Nation and Derby Wars. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.